So 2025, wow, what a year for Filipino cinema, right? It just completely shattered all expectations. But the real question is, how? How did it all come together? Well, this isn't going to be just a simple countdown of the top films. In this explainer, we are going deep. We're going to get behind the numbers to really understand the strategies, the stories, and all the trends that made 2025 such an absolute monster of a year. Okay, let's get into it.
I want to start with just one number, 388 million pesos. Just look at that for a second. Now, you might be thinking that's the total for the whole year, or maybe the top 10 combined, but nope, not even close.
That massive number, that is the combined global gross of just two movies. Two. And the story behind that incredible figure, well, that's the story of how an entire industry, using a whole mix of different genres and some really smart storytelling, absolutely triumphed in 2025. So, our mission here is to peel back the layers. We're going to dive into the specific films and, more importantly, the winning strategies that all click together to make 2025 such a truly historic year for cinema in the Philippines.
Okay, first up, let's take a look at the films that really laid the groundwork for all this success, the ones that rounded out the bottom half of the top 10. And what you'll see right away is that 2025 was not a one-trick pony. It wasn't dominated by just one type of movie at all.
And this slide just proves that point perfectly. I mean, look at the range here. You had everything from a touching romance like The Last Goodbye, you had the classic sharp hugot humor of Annex U, and then you had the straight-up chills of a psychological thriller like Lilim. The variety is just incredible.
You know, the fact that a serious historical drama like Fatherland landed at number 9 is really, really telling. It's proof that there's a real, hungry audience out there for smart, well-researched movies that aren't afraid to tackle big, important subjects. It's not always about pure escapism. Sometimes it's about being engaged.
Okay, now let's climb a little higher up the list. Because these next few films, they weren't just great movies. They were also these fascinating case studies in how you get audiences excited in this day and age, and how you turn online buzz into actual ticket sales. Let's take P77 at number 5. This was a genius move, a perfect partnership. You had the global marketing and distribution power of a giant like Warner Bros., combined with the local know-how and, let's be honest, the massive built-in audience of GMA Pictures. You put those two together, the result is a guaranteed hit.
Then, right above it at number 4, you've got a completely different playbook, but one that's just as powerful. The Four Bad Boys and Me followed this almost scientific formula. You start with something that's already a huge hit online, in this case Wattpad. You cast stars that Gen Z absolutely adores, and then you just activate that massive, passionate fan base that's already there. It's proof that fan power is a serious, serious force at the box office. And then you have the movie that basically broke all the rules. The dark horse, Lasting Moments, came in at number 3. This was a true word-of-mouth hit. It wasn't about a pre-existing fan base. This powerful drama just connected so deeply with people that they couldn't stop talking about it. It just kept going, week after week. It's a great reminder that you can never, ever underestimate the power of a good story.
All right, and that brings us to the two giants, the two titans that didn't just top the box office in 2025, they completely owned it. These movies weren't just successful, they basically redefined what success even looks like. So let's take a closer look. Coming in at number 2 for the year, My Love Will Make You Disappear, an absolute phenomenon, pulling in a staggering 173 million pesos from all around the world. So why did this one blow up? Well, it's a perfect example of what we call a high-concept romance. It's a simple idea, really. You take a love story that everyone can relate to, but you add this one unique, unforgettable what-if twist. And in this case, it was about a woman whose lovers literally disappear. I mean, that's a hook. It was weird, it was original, and you just had to see what happened next. But even that incredible success wasn't quite enough, because the number 1 film of the year, Meet, Greet, and Buy, just soared into a different atmosphere. It earned an unbelievable 215 million pesos globally. And this chart really puts it all into perspective. I mean, look at that. My Love Will Make You Disappear was a massive hit by any standard you can think of. But Meet, Greet, and Buy was just on another level entirely. It wasn't just the winner, it was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the year. So what was the secret sauce? What made this thing a mega blockbuster?
Well, it was like the perfect storm. You had a legendary director, Kathy Garcia Sampana. You had an absolute dream team of an all-star cast. But most importantly, the story was built on the single most powerful and universal theme for Filipino audiences, family. And that emotional center, a mother's final wishes, it just connected with everyone, across every generation.
Okay, so we've looked at all these amazing films. Let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this really mean for the industry? What are the big lessons we can learn from such a phenomenal year at the movies?
When you look at it visually, the year's success looks like this. Now, no big surprise, romance and drama were the heavy hitters, right? Together, they made up 80% of the top films. But the fact that thrillers and comedies are in there too just shows that audiences have a really broad and, frankly, a wonderfully diverse taste right now.
So if we boil it all down, 2025 really taught us three huge things. First, variety is a massive strength. Audiences are hungry for all kinds of stories. Second, fan power is real, and turning online fans into moviegoers is a winning strategy. And finally, and maybe this is the most important one, stories about family, they're still the ones that connect the deepest. They remain the most powerful draw of all.
And that really brings us to a final question to think about. After seeing all the data, all the strategies, and the powerful stories that made 2025 what it was, what do you think really makes a story worth millions? Is it the stars? Is it a clever concept? Or is it something a little deeper, something about our shared culture? It's definitely something to chew on as we wait to see what Filipino cinema has in store for us next.